working out has always been this beautiful outlet for me. It's been a way of sort of shutting my brain off. It's a form of meditation for me. Whether I was on the softball field competing or I was in the gym working out, it was my escape. And I loved that part of being an athlete. Sports, working out has now become competitive. It's become something that people watch. It's entertainment. It's a form of entertainment. When I decided to retire from playing softball, I knew that I wanted to keep moving. I knew that movement was an extremely important part of my life. I didn't understand that working out was a meditation for me, but I knew that I wanted to continue to be fit. And so within a couple weeks of returning home, I decided to try out CrossFit. Why I liked CrossFit, it was new, it was exciting, it had new challenges of new movements like muscle ups and handstand walks and handstand push-ups, and so they were new things that I had never tried that I knew would challenge me as an athlete. It was also a great opportunity for me to continue to socialize in a group setting, so it makes you feel like you're part of a team still. Ironically, it wasn't until a couple years into CrossFitting that I realized that I had stopped playing softball but now had traded that for CrossFit. So I was going 6 days a week, and some of you are saying, I work out 6 days a week. Why is that a big deal? It's not. I think exercise is a beautiful thing, but for me it was just replacing something else, and it wasn't always a process of me listening to my body. So there were many days where I'd show up into the CrossFit box and I didn't want to be there. I didn't feel good. My body didn't feel good. I was tired. But as an athlete, you're taught not to listen to your body because you don't have a choice. If you don't show up to practice, you don't play. And one of the famous quotes for athletes is show up and give 100% of what you have that day. So there really is no option as a high-level athlete to not show up on days that you don't feel good. So listening to your body is not something that we're taught to do. When you compete at a very high level, at the Olympic level, at the professional level, it's a job. You're getting paid to perform. And so part of that being paid is that you have to find ways to motivate yourself on days that you don't really want to show up. And what I didn't realize about how I was motivating myself is that I would motivate myself with negative self-talk and fear. I would tell myself, you didn't go to the gym. If you don't go to the gym today, you're going to gain weight. And you're not going to be fit. And if you're not fit, then you can't lead by example. And people won't look up to you. And so this process sort of followed me into not being an athlete anymore. So as I'm in the box 6 days a week, I could hear my self-talk of fear of being out of shape and fear of gaining weight and fear of just by motivation. That was my motivation, was fear. Part of the problem with going 6 days a week was that my body was starting to scream at me. I have already had 3 knee surgeries previously to starting CrossFit and being an athlete, so I had already put a lot of stress on my body. So then when you add 6 days a week of a very high volume type of workout, my body started to scream at me and I wasn't willing to listen. because we're not taught to listen to our bodies as athletes. So my body was starting to really scream at me. One day I was up on a mountain with a friend. One of my other favorite forms of meditation is being out in nature. And she says to me, what do you think would happen if you stopped going to CrossFit? And I could feel the flood of fear and negative self-talk sort of swallow me up. And in that moment, I couldn't imagine not doing it. But this thought stuck in my head because, again, as an athlete, fear, we can't be motivated by fear. And so in that moment, I started to work on some of the thoughts of maybe this is something that I need to do. I decided one day that I wasn't going to go to CrossFit for a while. And that was a scary thought. And for 3 months, I didn't touch or walk into a CrossFit box. And it was hard the first couple weeks. I could hear the negative self-talk. And the further I got out, a month, I'm thinking, okay, you need to remotivate yourself because you're going to get out of shape, because you're not going to be able to lead by example with some of your girls, because all of the fear, I could hear it. But day by day, that fear started to slowly subside. After about 3 months off of not working out, I slowly started to implement some home workouts, some workouts at home. And each time I'd listen to my self-talk, I'd listen to my body. There's days that I planned to work out and I didn't feel good that day. And so I made the decision not to. And I slowly started creeping in to where I was working out 1 to 3 times a week. Then I made a decision one day that I wanted to go back to CrossFit. But this time I wanted to do it on my terms. What does my terms look like? I was not going to motivate myself to go with negative self-talk. I was going to make sure I listened to my body. And most importantly, the purpose of me going now is for function. I want to continue working out because I love the meditation of it. I also love working out in a group with other people. It makes me feel like I'm part of a team again. I love the happy pill it gives me when I'm done. And so I'd say I'm at a good place where I can work out and I have a balance and I can listen to my body and I can know that I'm going to be able to climb up mountains and do all the things that I want to do with function in my later years. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this, comment below if you've ever experienced what it's like to be an athlete and now have to make the decision not to motivate yourself in certain ways. Comment below, subscribe, like. Thanks so much for watching.